What's up, y'all? It's Mr. Puckett, and today we're going to talk about what is AICE English Literature AS. We're going to unpack the name of this class. And first, let's look at these two acronyms we're working with here because they can be a little confusing. The first one, AICE, stands for Advanced International Certificate of Education. And that is an international degree program offered by the University of Cambridge. And that is pretty cool that it comes from Cambridge, the same way that it's cool like if I take an online class at Harvard and act like I studied at Harvard or something. But honestly, people could succeed at AICE courses without even knowing what AICE stands for. So honestly, it's not that big a deal. You know, it's not going to help you succeed in this class by knowing that. Let's check out that second acronym there, AS. That stands for Advanced Subsidiary. And in this context, subsidiary just means a supplement to something else. Like this class is a supplement to the advanced course. That actually has a huge impact on what we're going to study and do in this class. But once again, you could get by without knowing what AS means. It's not a huge deal. What I really want to focus on in the name of this class is English literature. Specifically, I want to answer the question, what are we going to be reading? What are we going to be studying this semester? All right. And the answer to that question and more can be found in the AICE English Lit syllabus. And I'm going to share a link to that on our Schoology page and in the description of this video. It's a 50-page document, so it is worth checking out, but it can be maybe a little daunting to read every single word on the document. I'm going to kind of unpack the most important details from it today and in the future, maybe in subsequent videos. All right, so what we read and do in this class, we do to prepare us for the AICE English Lit exam. And that exam is broken into 4 different parts, all right, 4 different papers, as they call them. And this, what you're looking at, is taken straight from the AICE English Lit syllabus. To understand these 4 papers, to understand these 4 parts, let's take a look at paper 1 right there. All right, paper 1 is titled Drama and Poetry. All right, and it's supposed to take 2 hours. It does take 2 hours. And during that paper, during that test, you answer 2 questions. One is about a work of drama, and one is about a poem. All right, and this same general setup is what you do for all 4 of the papers that make up the exam, all right? And all that adds up to 4 total exam days, 8 total hours of testing to answer 8 questions about 8 texts. And that can seem pretty daunting. If that sounds a little scary to you, don't be ashamed. It's all right. But I do have some good news. All right, the whole right side of this page, you ain't got to worry about right now, all right? Because that left side, that is the AS level exam. That's what we're worried about today. You see, the stuff on the right, you're going to cover that in the A-level course your senior year in McGavick. All right, so we only have to worry about that left side, only worried about half of the test for right now, and that's nice. But you may be wondering, you know, it says we're answering 2 questions, one about drama, one about poetry. What drama, what poetry are we reading? That's explained in the syllabus as well. And you see these lists of text here. You're going to answer a question about one thing, about one text, from each of these sections right here. So let's look further at paper 1, drama and poetry. You see section A of that is drama. And there are 4 different plays that you could read. We are going to be reading Much Ado About Nothing in this class. Now, if the fact that that's by Shakespeare scares you a little bit, I want you to throw out any of your past experiences with Shakespeare, unless they were good. I want you to throw out any negative experience with Shakespeare in the past, because Much Ado About Nothing is a lot of fun. It's maybe my favorite Shakespeare play, honestly. My favorite comedy, at least, I think. And I think you'll really enjoy it. My students last year did. Good news here. I can provide this text digitally. There are a million copies of Much Ado About Nothing, both out there, printed copies and copies online. But I do recommend that you pick up a printed copy. They're very cheap. You can get them on Amazon for $5 or less. If you went to a used bookstore, you could get it for $1.50, maybe $2. But we're going to be reading Much Ado About Nothing, and I think you'll enjoy it. As far as the poetry, that section B there, you see at the bottom, we're actually, we're actually going to be reading one of 2 collections. I haven't quite picked out which one I'm going to do yet, and we'll talk about why I'm not sure later. Maybe we can discuss it and pick the best one. that y'all think. But I'll kind of share my reasoning for all that later. But what I do want you to know right now is that all of these poems will be provided digitally. So that's good news. You'll have access to all of them. Now you'll notice there that the two things we may be reading are the selected poems by Robert Browning or selected poems from a collection called Songs of Ourselves Volume 2. Once again, you may be asking yourself, what specific poems? That's all outlined here. You can see there on the left side, I have the Robert Browning selection, and on the right side, I have Songs of Ourselves Volume 2. For example, if we were to choose the Robert Browning selection, then we would have to read My Last Duchess. If we were to choose the Songs of Ourselves Volume 2 collection, we'd have to read The Pride of Lions, a class favorite from last year by Johanna Preston. All right, just for an example. But let's go ahead and look at paper 2. Let's look at the other half of the test for this class. Section A, you'll notice, isn't drama, it isn't poetry, it's prose. And from this list, we're actually going to read two things. The first thing is Small Island by Andrea Levy. And here is an area where I really need you to focus, because I need you to get Small Island. This isn't going to be the only time I say it, believe me, but you need a copy of Small Island, and that's going to run you closer to $15 to $20. If you're not sure how you're going to get Small Island, just talk to me. I promise we'll figure it out. Do not be ashamed. Yeah, I'm going to get you a copy of Small Island. But one way or another, whether I get it, you get it, somebody else gets it, we got to get a copy. And I'll, once again, stress that again later. We're also going to be reading some selected stories from Stories of Ourselves Volume 2. That's a short story collection. All of those stories will be provided digitally. So, boom, good news there. You don't have to buy anything, or no one else has to buy anything. Now, you may be wondering, Mr. Puckett, I thought we only had to answer a question about one of the things on that list, and you'd be correct. But the thing here is I want to read some of those short stories because they're good. Just practice to get us in that mindset of reading and analyzing text, and they can be a good fallback if the questions for Small Island, you weren't really feeling come test day, whatever it may be. But we are going to read, if not all, most of the stories from Stories of Ourselves, Volume 2, the selection for this text. Once again, that list is provided by Cambridge. For example, this week you're going to be reading Gabriel Ernest, and you're going to be reading The Black Ball. So we're already going to be making a dent in these texts that we need to read for this class. So that's cool. But let's check out the bottom of paper 2. That's section B right there. You'll notice it just says unseen text, and that means exactly what it sounds like. I don't know what the text is. No one in the school knows what the text is, but it could be drama, poetry, or prose. We'll just have to sharpen our analytical skills and prepare for all three. All right. We're going to be reading all three types anyways. So, section B of paper 2, I don't know what it'll be, but we'll be ready for it. Now, I believe we're ready to answer that question we asked not long ago, right? What literature will we be reading and studying this semester? If we put it all together, I'm going to just give you a list of what we're going to be reading, and I'm going to do it in a rough order of when I think we'll be reading them. We're starting off with that collection of short stories by various authors right now. Today, you are reading some of those stories, or at least you should be, so that's cool news. We're going to be reading Small Island by Andrea Levy pretty soon, so we do need to get a copy of that. We're going to be reading a collection of poems by various authors this year, and we're going to be reading Much Ado About Nothing by William Shakespeare. Cool stuff, and that's kind of the rough order that we're going to do it, but we may jump around here or there. Who knows? When you look at it this way, it's not too daunting of a list. At least I don't think so. I hope you agree. If you're not a big reader right now, that's okay. Right now, during coronavirus, maybe it's a better time than ever to develop your skills as a reader. All right? And I remember when I was about your age, all I really cared about reading was sports. But as you can see, you grow up, your interests change, your hobbies change. You can become an awesome reader. And I hope that we do that all this year. All we need to focus on right now, though, is getting Small Island by Andrea Levy and starting to read those stories that I posted online already. All right? Now, there's, of course, other things to learn in that 50-page document, that syllabus that I mentioned earlier, but we'll talk more about that in the future. All right? All I really want you to know today is what we discussed right here. And if you have any more questions, please reach out to me. But just thank you for watching. Let me know if you need help, getting access to any text or anything like that. But I hope you're as excited about this year as I am. It's going to be fun. Thank you, guys.